All right, today's shave, it's Austere August, and we're using this Nacet, and 21 times it's been used, so today is 22. We're using Williams Mug soap. It's an old one. Shoot, it's almost 150 years old. It's not this puck, but the company, the soap. Blackland Dart is the razor we're using. This is the machined version. I really have been enjoying it this month. And here, let's just, I haven't even looked at the blade in a week or two. Let's just open it up carefully. And that is what it looks like with about 21 uses on it. Each day I leave some air in the head like that. I shake the water out as best I can, and then I just let it dry like that. That's kind of the recommendation, it seems. There we go. All right, at the end of the shave will be Afta Fresh. A little girly, but I'm using it. So here is the brush I'm using. It is a Whipped Dog 24 millimeter. I almost did a lather test. I had a theory about adding water to Williams, and I realized I don't have enough battery power to do my shave now and do the test as well. So the test will have to come to another day, but that's why I was pre-soaking. The brush is already pre-soaked. You don't have a look at it in its dry state. And so we have the Williams here. Put some hot water in it about almost half an hour ago, again, because I was going to do a test. And so it's got a long bloom it started with hot water, so that should be very porous and usable. And here is the bowl that I will be moving to. John L., I believe was his name, was a commenter on a YouTube video that talked about how a guy was having trouble with Williams and didn't like it. He said he's been using it for a very long time, decades. And even though he doesn't need to use it because of the cost, he still comes back to it. So obviously he's figured out something that he enjoys. And so I'm working on his method. This will be my second day attempting his method. I timed his lathering process was he just said load heavy in terms of loading up the brush with soap. And so I just did that, what I thought was heavy, and I timed it on the video, went back and watched it, and it was about 1 minute and 45 seconds. So at least now that's now something that we know. I can move from there, lower or raise the load time. But I think what happened is he has a Badger brush, and I'm going to bet that holds more water than my Boar brush. And so when I did 3 light shakes, which is what he said, I think I ended up with less water, because I did end up yesterday having to add water to the brush because the lather was just a little too dense. So maybe I won't even shake the brush this time. We'll see what that does. Let me get my face wet. About 24 hours since my last shave. I have hard water and it is cold. All right. So we are going to pour off the excessive amount of bloom water. There we go. And yesterday when I did this for the 1 minute and 45 seconds, it was kind of coming out in blops. But it was a light, airy lather that you don't want anyway, so no big deal. I'm not even going to shake the brush. Let's just go. And 420, haha, that's easy to remember. So 420, and we'll do it for, 1 minute and 40 would be easy. So to the 6 minute mark, we're gonna just stir. Maybe later on I'll find out I don't have to load it quite this long, but it's cheap soap. We'll see what happens. There's my first drip. He said just a long load. You know, I think the wisdom currently online is that a puck of Williams will last you about a month, but I mean, judging from the thickness of the puck that it's still in here, and we're 20 days into the month. I'm thinking it might last a month and a half. Oh yeah, now 40 seconds left. With the puck soaked a good while, the lather is definitely better looking, less bubbly and airy. So that is an improvement over just a no blooming, you know, no soaking at all. 15 seconds. Just a few blops down in the sink, not too many. 4 seconds. And there's 6 minutes. So, a little bit of a sheen. It's wet and all that mess. So, I'm going to go ahead and kind of rinse off the cup. It'll be easier to rinse off now if I do it now. All right. So let's just see what happens. We'll take it to the bowl. And what was interesting that happened yesterday, I didn't add any more water to it. I just did what I'm doing right now. The lather slowly built up, looking pretty good. It didn't have nearly as many bubbles and that kind of thing. Early on, it even kind of had a sheen to it. And what seemed to happen was that the outside lather was a little too micro bubbly, and at the end of the shave, it just looked very airy if I were to hold it up to you like that and show it to you. And what I ended up using basically was just the lather that was inside the brush, because as I kept using it on my face, it kept delivering lather, even 4 passes worth. At the end, I did a palm lather. After 3 passes and a touch-up, I did a palm lather with what was left, and I could have shaved with that. And so there was just available soap in the brush that never made it out into the lather, even though I had, you know, stirred for several minutes. And so I wonder if something about that airy lather prevents the soap from coming out. The lather was, you know, it probably made me think that it was too wet. You know, I don't want to thin it down anymore. But I really needed to add some more water. So it's almost like the Williams can possibly, it never feels too thick, you know. In the beginning it feels thin, and then you finally get to that perfect point of water maybe, and then it is right. And then if you add too much water, it still feels thin. And so how do you know which side of that perfect point you're on? So already now we have got a boatload of airy lather. I believe that it's kind of too airy. So let's see if we can keep coaxing that soap out. It's definitely got more water in it than I had yesterday. So I'm hoping I can just kind of coax that soap out of the brush, because I know if I start face lathering this, it will, that soap will just kind of start to come out, and it will need some water. But I mean, it's not too airy. It doesn't look too airy. Yesterday even I was able to see some consistency, some elasticity. We got some movement there. So here's what we'll do. Let's do a little finger test. Rinse off my fingers. Makes it harder to hold that resin handle when you got suds. I'm gonna take this tiny bit of cushion, but just kind of thin, easily feel my fingertips. So what if we kind of assume that we are on the, because we loaded for so long, I think we're safe to assume that we're on the front side of the that thing I was talking about. We're before that prime point of adding water. So let's just add half a teaspoon of water and see if this lather changes and thickens up a little bit or what. See if we can coax some of that soap that's inside the bristles out so that I don't have to do it while it's on my face. Or if what I'm doing is going to just stir up the airy lather, that's not all that helpful. So I've got a lot of something. Now let's do a little finger test and see if there's any difference. Seems the same. Yeah, and see, it's airy. It's too airy. Micro bubbles. It's like that water that I added isn't making it into the brush. Stir for just a little bit longer. YouTube has a playback speed feature. Hit that gear icon. Change it, go to speed or playback or whatever, and you'll be able to switch it to like maybe 1.5 or something like that, and you'll be able to listen. But it'll go by faster. I'm going to go crazy and add another. So I've added a whole teaspoon of lather water to this. So we'll just see if, adding more water was the trick, or if I'm just adding to the amount of airy lather. I mean, it's possible that stirring for a very long time could really reduce these bubbles, but I mean, who wants to do that? So I'm not really entertaining that as a possible solution. Got to rinse my hand off every once in a while, because if the handle gets sudsy, you got to hold it with a pencil grip of death. Keep control of it. So the lather's increasing. Kind of push it down. That'll be interesting to see what kind of lather we get. I've already stirred for quite a while, so I think I'm just going to quit. And if I end up having to add more water, then so be it. So let's take a look and see if I can kind of gather most of it up. Still got a good bit in the bowl, so quite a big clod here. And let's do our finger test. Might as well use these fingers since they're, yeah, still a little bit of cushion. It does form peaks. A little bristle hair that has come out. I don't know. That might not be too bad. I don't know how well you can see it. We'll see. Maybe this is the ticket. More water. Figure out what kind of brush you have. Maybe, because I didn't shake the brush, so that's easily duplicated. Just don't shake the brush next time. This time I added an additional teaspoon of water. Next time I could not shake the brush and add in a teaspoon and a half. See what happens. All right, I'm gonna get my face wet again and start lathering up. Excuse me. All right, let's see what's in this brush. I think what I've got down here turned out to be a pimple. Holy cow. Can't remember the last time I had a pimple. See my gray hairs? Got it when it popped up when I was mowing the grass. First I thought it was some type of, thing thrown at me or something from the mower. But it's acting kind of like a pimple. This is a smooth feeling lather coming on here. Feels great. We'll see if it's creamy or if it's gonna kind of die off like the airy lather tends to do. I think I'm gonna shave with that. Yeah, I think we're coaxing more, I think that there's, soap in the brush that's kind of just waiting to come out. That'll be interesting to try out tomorrow. Doesn't look too thin. It's going to give me good slickness, that much I know. But what we want it to give is a little bit of cushion as well, and make to where slickness doesn't seem to be the only thing that will protect your skin. It's got to have a little bit of cushion or something, butteriness, to really help out, at least with me. I'm going to start out with the more open handle angle, kind of more standard 30 degrees, 35, I'm guessing. It's not pulling. 22 use blade here. I discovered that if I come from the outside, here and here, then I get almost no irritation. That used to be a problem area until I just tried switching directions, and it turns out those hairs must be just kind of weird, I do feel the blade. A tiny bit of kind of roughness, and so maybe that's the age of the blade. We'll see how I've got some irritation down here, maybe from a previous shave or something. I'll have to watch out for that. I may not do a third pass, because if the blade is what's generating the irritation, I want to maybe shave a little bit less to let it heal more, so that tomorrow maybe I can keep on going. If it keeps building up irritation, then I could probably assume it's the blade just getting old and being a little bit rough. All right, there we go. First pass, rinse. I'll also say that some people don't even rinse between passes. A lot of the tutorial videos do show guys rinsing, and so I think that's been adopted by a lot of newbies watching videos, but including me. But in reality, there are people out there who they think it's weird that some people rinse between passes. Okay, get a little bit of this lather in my brush. Go at it again. see what we can get. And it's kind of nice if it's a little too thick, because then you can just leave a little bit of extra water on your face, a few droplets, you know, after the rinse. Don't have to scrub too much. Switch to painting. Looks good. I didn't really mean to load the brush for 25 minutes today. Like I said, I was going to do a test lather, and so tomorrow I'll also try to get that back to like the 5 or 10 minutes that John recommended. Okay, second pass. Feels pretty good. There's kind of a consistent shaving feeling. A good edge moving across your skin. Very predictable. I'm reducing my handle angle, meaning that I'm bringing my the end of my handle closer to my face, and that for me helps to reduce irritation, especially down in this area where I seem to have some razor burn from somewhere. Very gentle in that area, starting with the handle pretty close to my face, and then gradually moving out until I kind of feel it cutting. I tried to pop that. I tried to just see if it was a pimple. I tried to pop it earlier. I'm afraid it's getting a bit big and red. Hadn't had one of those in forever. I'm going to rinse. If you do have inflammation, irritation, razor burn regularly, one of the things I can recommend is cool water shave. Now there's some guys who throw ice in their sink with their water, and I mean, I'm not that. I just use whatever comes out of the cold tap. In the winter it's cold, but that really helps to reduce irritation for me, and I've heard good reports from other folks who I've suggested it to. So if irritation is a problem for you, maybe give it a shot. And yeah, look at all this razor burn, and I've had zero problem with that all month. And so if this happens again tomorrow, I may have to pitch the blade. We'll see. Who knows? I mean, I work from home right now, so I could just live with the razor burn for the whole month and just say I've used a whole blade that way. But who knows? Maybe it'll snap back. That's kind of what we're hoping for. All right, so second pass is in the books. Let's gather up some more. And as you can see, I've got tons of lather, so I don't think I needed to load for as long as I did. But I try to change as few things as possible about my formulations. That way I know when things go wrong and I know which thing I changed. And I can just keep on going back and dipping in there and getting some more lather if I need to. Let's just see how this third pass turns out. I mean, this is comfortable lather. I don't mind this at all. A very light scent coming up. And it is the citronella scent, but at such a strength, it doesn't really seem too much like citronella. I don't feel like I'm outside with the bugs, with the mosquitoes and the citronella candles. It's just a light soapy scent to me. Battery's low on the camera, so I had to dismiss the warning. All right. Third pass. Lather looks good. And the lather in the bowl here, it looks much better than the lather in the bowl at the end of yesterday's shave. And this had 1 more teaspoon of water in it. So it looks like that may have been the right decision. Yep, no drag, nice and slick. Very smooth, comfortable at this point because the hairs are probably just already taken off, about as good as they're going to get. Very nice. Now I'm getting in a little tender area here where these hairs right where I'm shaving here just for the last few days have not been coming off well. They're being cut a little bit, but nothing like earlier in the month when the blade was sharper. I think I will go ahead and do a neck only pass. That is my usual routine with most other average blades. Feels great on the skin right now, very slick. Leaving a little water on my skin. And let us get some lather. Yeah, that's a much better lather in the bowl than there was last time. Good decision. That worked out. Lots of good lather. All right, I'm going to start with the trouble area first. Just lightly pressure. I'm trying to keep it very low, just enough to kind of keep the blade edge on the skin. And this area over here just doesn't give me any trouble. With a storm going on, you may be able to hear something outside every once in a while if it starts to really pick up. I'm hearing some rumblings. I really have. Once I figured out the angle that I had to reduce it, the handle angle, after the first pass, I had to reduce it. And it made the razor supremely usable for me. And I've gotten some very close shaves with it. I don't know how many other razors that might be applicable to. But it sure... I know that the charcoal goods I have to open it more. Like here's the average angle. I have to open it more and kind of ride the cap. Make that be more of a pressure point instead of the safety bar. I'm going to rinse. And we're back. That was the results are very good. I guess the blade is at the point where I just need to spend a little bit extra time. I buffed over that area several times on that last touch-up pass instead of just kind of going through it once. And it paid off. Very few hairs right now in that area have length. And so that's quite an accomplishment. So what a 22 use blade. Still doing, it's not, you know, when it was use number 1 through 7, I think, I didn't even have to do anything beyond a third pass. But at least now I can do that touch up and just one pass of touch up. So 3 up here, 4 passes down here, and I end up with a great shave. Really happy. Even if I was in a job where there was tight scrutiny on my stubble, I believe it wouldn't be a problem. That's saying something for an old soap that people just think is nothing but trouble, and a 22 use now blade. How about that? I'm gonna start cleaning up. Okay, so the soap at the end of the lather here that's in this bowl is very different than the soap that was in this bowl yesterday. I didn't end up adding extra water to the soap. So this is a more hydrated lather. You see the bubbles and stuff right there. It was actually worse than that yesterday. But right now, what's in there is, it's creamy, got a little bit of resistance, a little bit of cushion. It's still got some micro bubbles. You know, it's not perfect, but it's much different than yesterday. And who knows, maybe it could, it didn't really feel like it needed a little bit more water. I think maybe it did just a little, but the hydration in my face really helped to balance it out. And so technically maybe it still needs a little bit more water. Just for grins, maybe I'll put 1.5 teaspoons in tomorrow. But I mean, this is pretty good lather. I don't think most people get this lather out of Williams. I mean, look at that elasticity. I mean, that's pretty good. It feels great. Slickness is crazy. And so now I think it has the body creaminess to kind of back up the slickness, help you get a nice protected shave. So that's just, I mean, it's still a little bit on the airy side. Like, look at my fingered pads there. You can make that out in the video. But it's much improved over the other day. And look how much I have left. So we got our money's worth this time. All right, and there's still another pass in the bowl. All right, let's. So I filled this up with 2 teaspoons, and now I'm showing you that we used half of it, which leaves 1 teaspoon left. So here we are, as we're getting to the end of the month. As I hold up the brush at the end, I've wrung it out as best I can gently. Stropped it up and down on the towel to kind of get a lot of moisture out of it I can. Then I kind of push the bristles apart to promote air movement as it dries tonight. So here's a look at it, and maybe we'll do a comparison at the beginning of the month and at the end, if I can dig up a picture or something like that. So there we go. It's been great. Soft. The tips are great, and they're going to get even better. They're being slow to split, and this is a Boar brush from whipped-dog.com. I've been really happy with his badgers. They're a little on the low backbone side, so if you like high backbone, you know, pretty firm while still having soft tips, badger brushes, silver tips, then look elsewhere. Or maybe like the finest 2-band tight knots, then they're not going to be for you. But I like the softer ones that are kind of more luxurious, because they still stir up soap really well. And so that's my preference. And so if that's you, then maybe check out Whipped Dog. You can even just buy the knot, or you can buy it in one of his handles. And no, I'm not affiliated with any type of shaving business. All right, let us put some After shave on. Getting good face feel right now. It's been kind of dry for a few minutes as I was working with the brush, and I don't feel any kind of problems. Any, dryness issues, that kind of thing. I don't think this is a result of a reaction with this product, with the Afta, because I've been using it all month with no issues. So we'll just see. Hopefully we can get that to go away and not be an issue anymore, not be a question mark. All right. I had pizza today. All right, we're here at the end. I don't feel any irritation. I can see redness. It's not even really too tender to the touch in most areas. So I got a feeling it's going to go away, hopefully, pretty quickly. I don't feel anything. So good shave. Really happy. The Nacet bounces back. Pretty cool. So I learned about the hydration of Williams, that what I had needed more water. I think I can now start backing off of the load, since I had so much soap available to me there, so much lather. Instead of a minute and 45 seconds, back it off, maybe, even to a minute and 15 perhaps. But that was a long load, a long soak. I think you need to kind of balance. If you end up having a long soak, long time, then maybe you don't have to quite load for as long. If you have a lower soak, then maybe you need to increase your load time. So that may be kind of a little balancing act there. Anyway, all right. I'm enjoying the lather that I'm getting here. Now this is still kind of a bowl lather. I didn't really get to a good mug lather or a face lather, so I may still have to do some more YouTube searches, because surely there's some guys out there with good information about that. Because I got a feeling there are lots of guys that just shaved with it out of the mug instead of having a bowl. All right, I am good. Feeling good about the shave. Closeness. Oh, nice. 95%. On this one, I'd say it's 97% baby butt smooth without even going against the grain. So that's something that even with the faults and the length that was left yesterday, the day before, my cheeks were still getting shaved really, really well without going against the grain. So I knew that the Nacet was likely still in the fight. All right, that's enough for today. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Hope there was something here that helped you out. Take care and good night.